And we're in at last. My days, man. It seems to be a new problem every week when I'm trying to stream on this channel, man. New problem every week. But we're in. And reacting to Sevilla absolutely walloping Manchester United 3-0 here. It was one-sided performance I've ever seen it, man. This is on a par with the way that they capitulated against Liverpool, Manchester United. They had nothing on show today. I mean, I came out and I predicted that did believe Sevilla would win today, given how they ended the first leg in Manchester and given how good they are in the Europa League. But I didn't expect it to be this one-sided. I thought it was going to be at least some kind of a fight from Manchester United, but not by any stretch of the imagination. It was a complete whitewash from Sevilla. Dominate them from start to finish. From the first kick of the football, it was all Sevilla, and Man United could not compete whatsoever. And look, they got what they deserved at the end of the day, Manchester United. If you don't come to play football, especially away from home, if you don't try and take the game to the opponent, you're going to get found out. And Sevilla did exactly that. They came and they conquered. Look, I mean, the first goal, we could talk about how it's a car crash from De Gea and Maguire. But for me, you're going to hostile ground. The first thing you got to say is don't make mistakes. Don't make mistakes. It's the first thing. When you go away from home into a tough place, no matter who you're playing, whether it's Sevilla, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, anyone on planet Earth, if you go away from home, it's always going to be a tough game. You got to nullify the crowd. That's number one rule. It's a quarter-final of a Europa League, man. It's quarter-final of a European competition. You think it's not going to be loud. You think it's not going to be boisterous. You think the teams are not going to be up for it. So you can't make any mistakes early. You can't give the home crowd any sort of advantage or inkling to think that this is going to be an easy game for them. But Manchester United came, they made a mistake straight away. De Gea, bad ball into Maguire. Maguire, what is his body positioning, man? Like, why are you receiving the ball with your back to play? It makes no sense. You got to receive the ball, yeah? And you got to have your body open up to be able to receive it on the half turn and play forward. But no, he receives the ball static. Three man all just crowd around him and he gives the ball straight away, Maguire, man. It's terrible defending. Foul, terrible defending from him. Don't know what he's doing. But you also got to look at De Gea, because De Gea is the goalkeeper, right? The goalkeeper's got the benefit, the luxury of seeing the whole pitch. You can see exactly where everyone is on the pitch. So why are you giving it to Maguire when he's got three men surrounding him is beyond me. It makes no sense. You already know Maguire isn't exactly the best with the ball at his feet. It's a terrible decision. Absolutely terrible decision. If you're David De Gea, you got to play it out wide to whether it's the right back or you lump up the field because it's an away game. You just try and get bodies up the pitch. But he doesn't. He completely digs his team out. And once Sevilla went 1-0 up, they didn't really look back from there. United never really got going. And it was, to be very dominant performance from Sevilla. They thoroughly deserved to win this game. Jeff, welcome to the chat, my friend. Sevilla put in a solid performance today, and that's all it took against a mistake-prone United. Exactly, man. Exactly. It was far too easy for them, though. Like, far too easy. I mean, I did predict that Sevilla were going to win this game, just given how their Europa League form's been, given everything, including how the way they finished that first leg, both teams, Manchester United and Sevilla. I thought, yeah, I think Sevilla will do all right here. But I didn't expect it to be this one-sided. Like, this was genuinely far too easy for them. Like, it's a quarter-final of a Europa League. It's a European competition. Manchester United, who are third in the Premier League, one of the better teams in the league this season, they should be putting up more of a fight. But they well and truly folded. Like, completely folded here today, man. It was a poor performance by all accounts. So poor from them. And if you're Sevilla, you did exactly what the doctor ordered, right? You got exactly what you need to do. You got in there on the front foot, in their faces. It was the Manchester United side that did have a lot of changes. To be fair, I think if you want to put it down to that a little bit, you can. Missing the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, even Rashford only had half the game. But you gotta say, man, Manchester United is poor. Is poor. Hey, welcome into the chat, Luca. United was horrible, holy. Welcome in Max Johnson, by the way. Nobody was able to get anything going for Manchester United. Exactly, it was terrible, man. So bad. Like, I'm thinking that from Manchester United perspective, right? You can say, oh, they're missing Bruno Fernandes, or you're missing, what's it called? Like, I don't know, Lisandro Martinez. You're missing Rafa Varane, etc. You're Manchester United, man. You're literally Manchester United. You should not be there worrying about missing this player or that player. Like, where the days gone by when Manchester United have such a good team that it doesn't matter if they miss one or two people because you'd have adequate replacements, you'd have adequate squad depth. United squad depth is not quite good enough, man. Genuinely, it's not. Because you can't be missing one or two of your key players and go, oh, that's it, Manchester United, we're basically become a championship team. That's not good enough, man. Like, I'd expect that from a mid-table side. Not from Manchester United, man. Poor. Just because they're missing a few players, it's not an excuse. Yeah, they should have Bruno Fernandes today, potentially, but come on, man. Like, come on. It's just poor by all accounts, man. Terrible performance. Nice shirt you got there. Sorry, I appreciate it, man. Big up Turkey. That's my country, man. That's my country. I need him to turn up in the qualifiers to make the World Cup for once in my lifetime, man. Roma just scored to go 3-2 up on aggregate 10 minutes into added time. Oh my days, what game that is. Roma Feyenoord. Well, let me know who gets through, man. I'm going to keep streaming here, but let me know the updates on that match with goals, etc. I want Roma to go through just because I want Mourinho in. I just want Mourinho to go far in it because I think he's a character, man. Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is a character. So having him in, like, whether it is the Europa League semi-final or whatever, would be decent, man. I'd love that. What a game, Roma versus Feyenoord. It's looking like that, man. What a game indeed. Did I miss a good game? Yeah, I mean, good for Sevilla fans. For the neutral, not so much, to be honest. Not so much. It was a very average game in the neutral's perspective. But Sevilla played really well, genuinely. Like, this was actually. Let me know in live chat your opinion on it. What's worse, the loss to Liverpool 7 or this loss today? Performance-wise, they were very similar. Genuinely very similar. At least in the Liverpool game, I think in the first 30-45 minutes, United were actually quite good against Liverpool. It's just in the second half where they completely collapsed. They collapsed that second half. Today, from minute 1 to 90, United were terrible. They didn't have anything going at the start of the match to the end of the match. Absolutely terrible, man. And they got what they deserved. Because when you're playing, this is what I don't get, man. Because surely these Manchester United players, right, they would have grown accustomed to what it's like to play in Europe, man. Like, you're going away from home in a second leg, hostile place in Sevilla, in a quarter-final of a European competition. You got to be up for it. You have to be. And, you know, the manager would have said, Erik ten Hag would have told him in the dressing room, no mistakes early, boys. Don't give the crowd any incentive. They're already fired up. I mean, the crowd was full from 30 minutes before the game started. They were already chanting and singing. So you don't get into it straight away, man. You have to get into it straight away, man. You can't give away any silly goals, silly mistakes. And that's exactly what Maguire and David De Gea did. And just gave them the incentive. Gave Sevilla the incentive to get going. And from then on, it was only really going to be one side. Because they were just up for the fight. Every second ball was Sevilla's. Everything. From minute 1 to 90, they dominated. Man for man. There was not one position on that pitch where Manchester United had the better player on the pitch. It just goes to show that if you don't fight, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. But I hope the quality of the stream is decent. It's showing 1 bar of 3 for me in terms of the connection quality. So I hope it's not too laggy. Let me know if it is. I'll try and fix it if possible. Was it a good game? Max Johnson says no. I don't blame you for saying no, my friend. I mean, for Manchester United fans, this would be a horror game, bro. Absolute show. For me, I enjoyed watching it because I love the way Sevilla played. And look, the commentators made me laugh. Like Robbie Savage and the BT Sport commentators were like, "Oh, Sevilla would not have expected this in their wildest dreams." I think they would have. I mean, I predicted a Sevilla win today for a multitude of reasons. One, because they're generally quite good in the Europa League. I don't know what it is. They're just that team in the Europa League. This is their competition. Also, let's not forget, right, in big away games, Manchester United have failed miserably. On the biggest stage, Manchester United this season have been good. I'm not going to take that away from them. This season, generally, Manchester United have been a very good side. They've played really good football and they've got very good results. But away from home in the big games, they failed miserably, Manchester United. Most recently against Newcastle, flopped away from home. Liverpool, flopped. City away, flopped. Arsenal away. I know they conceded last minute, but let's be honest, Arsenal dominated that game. Away from home in the big matches, Manchester United fall short. They're not up for it competitive-wise. And this was a big game. Away from home, Sevilla, a second leg. An opportunity to right your wrongs from conceding two late goals in the first leg. But they were just not up for it whatsoever. Man for man, Sevilla outcompeted them and outperformed them. And they deserved the victory. Another away big game where United do not turn up. And it's not good enough. You're Manchester United at the end of the day. Like, Tommy, I believe, asked me yesterday on my stream saying, what's your 5 biggest clubs in world football? And I said the 5 biggest clubs in world football, in my opinion, is Real Madrid, Barcelona, and third, Manchester United. So how, as the third biggest club in the world, in my opinion, in Manchester United, are you not turning up for big away games? It's not good enough to say you're good for 70% of the matches in the season. The big away games is where you earn your money as a big footballer. That is where you're expected to turn up. When you play those big European nights. And they don't. No one today was good. And it's not quite good enough, man. You can blame a lack of personnel. You can blame Lisandro Martinez out. You can blame the soft yellow card for Bruno Fernandes missing this leg. Fine, you can say what you want, but that's just excuses. You're Manchester United. You should not be falling to pieces because 1 or 2 of your key players are missing. That's not a good enough excuse for me. Like, you still should have a big enough squad to win. Let's be completely honest. Hey, Luca, thank you for joining to the chat. As always, my friend. De Gea was crap. He was, man. And I already went through that first goal, but let me go through it again because that deserves its whole own analysis, right? So, I've been around football for a long time, man. I played it, obviously, as a kid growing up. I've watched a hell of a lot of football. Now, Whose fault is it? David De Gea or Harry Maguire? I want everyone to let me know in the live chat. This is my take on it, right? And by the way, this happened after 7 minutes. And I always talk about how in big away games, don't make any mistakes early. Keep the game tight. When you're away from home in a big game, don't concede any early chances. Keep it tight, get the crowd numbed down, and then you start to impose yourself on the match. Don't do anything silly straight away, like a silly foul, silly red card, silly anything that's going to give the crowd an incentive to get on their feet and give the home team an incentive to take the game by the scruff of their neck. But what United did was criminal, absolutely criminal, from both De Gea and Harry Maguire. Firstly, Maguire, right? The brother, well, Harry Maguire's been around the block. I know he's not a brilliant defender. I know he's far from a brilliant defender. And I know he's not good with his feet. But this brother's been around Premier League for a long time. He's used to playing a football style where you play out the back. I'm sorry, it's no excuse. Maguire, the ball's at the goalkeeper, yeah? And you're expected to receive the ball and turn. Why are you standing flat on? Like, that's schoolboy stuff. No one in world football, whether you're a midfielder, centre-back, striker, receives the ball flat on like this with their back to goal. The only person that does that is a target man striker. What you should do is be square on. So you receive the ball and you can see the pitch so you can pass it out. But no, he's waiting like this for the football and he just plays a blind pass to his left. Come on, man. You're a centre-back. You don't make mistakes in your own half. That's schoolboy stuff. Like, genuinely, that's schoolboy stuff. And then we've seen on Twitter some people say, oh, Maguire called for the ball. So it's not De Gea's fault because Maguire called for it. No, it is De Gea's fault as well. That's his fault for his body position not being correct and playing a blind pass over his left shoulder without any recognition for where the Sevilla players are. Why is it De Gea's fault? It's because he's the goalkeeper, right? And as the goalkeeper, he can see the whole pitch. The whole pitch, right? So he should be able to know who is available for the ball. Don't pass it to Maguire, who's got 3 hungry sharks in Sevilla players ready to crowd him as soon as he gets a touch. Because these Sevilla players, I would be 100% sure their manager told them, look, there's something called triggers in football, right? So you don't just press like headless chickens because you're going to run out of energy, and most teams in the world, especially United, who are actually quite good, will pass around the press. So what teams tend to do, right, in their football coach tells them, they give them triggers of when to press. So normally when a certain player picks up the ball, that's when you press that player because they're usually a weak spot. And Maguire would have been that trigger for Sevilla players. So I guarantee the coach would have told them, as soon as this boy Maguire picks up the ball, press him, bro. Press Maguire differently because he's weak on the football. And then that's exactly what they did. They waited. As soon as Maguire got the ball, bang, 3 of them all attacked him at once. And they took the ball off him and they scored a goal from it. Brilliant goal from En-Nesyri. So David De Gea, you should know, there's 3 people circling Maguire. You see the whole pitch? Just boot it out wide. Give it out to the right back. Give it out to the left back. Or worse, just lump up the field and you turn and you face them. That's nothing wrong with that. But no, you play a criminal pass into Harry Maguire, who gives it away. For me, both players are to blame, man. Is it one or the other? It's both. It's both. It's criminal from both of them, man. And David De Gea, he is a well-established goalkeeper. He's been around the block for a long time. I've said for a while, I think Manchester United needs to move on from him. He's not good enough anymore to be Man United goalkeeper. You can say he makes some good saves. He does. Every now and then he makes a brilliant save for Manchester United. But this is Manchester United. He shouldn't be employed for making one good save every other game. Like, he should be good in all facets of his game. He should be a goalkeeper that's good with his feet, good making saves, etc. You can't just keep him in the job because he makes one good save every other game or something like that. It's not good enough. Max, you okay? Which channel I sub? Mark Madbridge is fuming, bro. Mark Goldbridge would be on another planet right now. He would be fuming, man. I'm not even a Manchester United fan and I'm fuming. Like, I'm just here, right, I appreciate good football. And I appreciate watching players that know how to play football. They've got a good IQ to them, right? So when I see it well-established, like internationally established footballers in David De Gea and Harry Maguire making schoolboy errors, it's fuming. Like, it gets me livid. Like, I'm watching internationally established footballers, players that have played over 100 games for their country, let alone in the league, and they make silly errors like that, man. Like, it's a schoolboy. It's something you teach under 7s or under 8s when they first started playing football. That's what I watch, and I'm just annoyed, man. I'm not even a United fan. I'm annoyed, and I know United fans just like Mark Goldbridge would be just as annoyed. Liverpool. What's a Liverpool issue? I'm not too sure. Do you have a favourite Turkish club? I do, Galatasaray. But to be fair, I don't watch the Turkish Super League because it's absolutely crap. It's crap. But yeah, I am Turkish. I support Galatasaray. But in Europe, I support the Turkish teams. So take it as you will, man. I don't support Tottenham or anything in Europe though. Like, nothing like that. But all the Turkish teams I do. It stayed 1-0 for quite a while, leaving hope with the header for the second goal. That was about all. Well, see, look, you're right. And that's the thing for Manchester United, right? Because even when you go 1-0 down and make a silly mistake like they did, they made a very silly mistake, the game was still there for them. It's only 1-0. Like, what any big team would do, and what Man United failed to do away from home, is you can see the silly goal, but you bounce back. It's not the end of the world. Heads up, and you go again. But no, they just kept retreating, and they lacked all confidence, and it just gave Sevilla incentive to keep going. And yeah, they got their second goal from a corner straight after in the second half. But genuinely, they should have got their second goal earlier. They did score a second goal. Acuna assisted him, but he was offside at the time for a Campos, I believe, to score. But yeah, the warning signs were there for Manchester United the whole game, but they never got going. Like, in a 90-minute match, there was not one point where I genuinely thought they were going to score here, Man United, because they never looked comfortable at all. Defending and going forward. Both facets of their game was poor. Very poor. There is football in England. What's that relating to, Chisha? But thank you for joining into the chat, by the way. I appreciate you joining as always. Anyone else that's just joining, make sure you subscribe. My next reaction will be tomorrow. Arsenal versus Southampton. Massive football match for the title race, man. RD12, welcome to the chat as always. De Gea is an outdated goalkeeper for real. Exactly, man. Exactly. I just had to spiel about David De Gea and about how he's nowhere near good enough for Manchester United whatsoever, man. Nowhere near good enough at all. I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, what's this brother doing, man? Like, I don't get, like, I think he came into United in 2014, 2013. Did they bring in De Gea? And he had a few good seasons. He did. Genuinely, he did. But I'm talking since about 2019, 2020, I've been wanting this brother out of United. I'm not even a United fan, I've wanted him out of there. And it's waited till 2023 and he's still in the job. They've tried to bring in players to, like, rival him, but they haven't. Like, where are United going to take that next step and start acting like a big club? Like a big club. But he hasn't, man. They haven't whatsoever. They need to bring in a top striker and a top goalkeeper. In summer, United, you need to do that, man. And if you bring a top-class goalkeeper and a top-class striker like Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, for example, United will take that next step and will challenge for a title. I'm 100% confident in that. Because the rest of the team is solid. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know Maguire isn't good, right? But their two starting centre-backs, Martinez and Varane, are good. They'll bring in a few squad players, yeah? But prioritise a starting goalkeeper and a starting striker, and United will be back. I promise you. Stream is good today, much better than yesterday. I appreciate that, Jeff. I think that the quality on my stream says that the connection is quite unstable, so I don't know if it's freezing, but it is. Please bear with me, man. I hope it's not too bad. My Wi-Fi today hasn't been great, unfortunately, man. It's when you've got Virgin Media or Vodafone, this is what happens sometimes, man. The Wi-Fi clocks out on you. I would love to go to Spain one day. Beautiful there. It is, man. It's absolutely beautiful country. I've been to Sevilla, actually. I went in 2017 to Sevilla, so quite a few years ago. Very nice country, man. Genuinely very nice. I'd love to go and be able to just like watch football matches for a living. Like, I think that's everyone's dream, right? But I'd love to just be able to go and just watch this game and then make content of it. That'd be the absolute dream, man. And see these European nights, because today, big up the Sevilla fan base, because genuinely they were immense. They were immense. Like, the way they were with that crowd from minute 1 to 90 was brilliant. Even 30 minutes before kickoff, they were on job. Like, genuinely on job, man. Like, they had the banners waving. They were all in their white shirts. It was so good, man. Genuinely so good. David De Gea is better positioned to see Maguire will be under immense pressure. Exactly my point, Jeff. Exactly my point. I'm saying, when you're De Gea, right, you're the goalkeeper. I do blame Maguire because I don't know what he's doing, playing a blind left pass and even receiving his ball with the back to goal and not even having your body open. But it's also De Gea's fault, bro. You can see the whole pitch. Like, you can see everything, man. And he played the wrong pass. I would sell Maguire. I would too, Max, but who's going to buy him? Like, genuinely, who will buy Maguire? Like, you're not going to get anywhere near the 80 million or 70 million you bought him for, so that's out of the equation. But who would buy Harry Maguire, genuinely? Like, what is he good at? Hi there. Thank you for joining at Arsenal, Alex, man. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Appreciate you joining as always. Arsenal's going to win the title, I hope. Yeah, Max, I hope too, bro. I hope too, man. But who knows, man. It'll be a massive game tomorrow, first of all, for Arsenal against Southampton. Can't wait to stream my reaction to that tomorrow. But also the Wednesday game, another massive game, Man City, Arsenal. De Gea, for me, needs to retire. That's a bit harsh, Luca, man. That's a bit harsh. Now, he doesn't need to retire. He just needs to go back to Spain. Go to like Sevilla or something, bro. Like, go to Sevilla, have a nice end of your career there. But you're not good enough for Manchester United. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not, man. You're not good enough for that football club. Nowhere near. No chance. What makes you think we're going to beat City? Luca, have some faith, my friend. Have some faith. No, nah, come on, Luca, bro. Have some faith. Upset special. We hope so. We hope so, man. You guys are beating Southampton tomorrow, though. Well, I hope so. I always say this, right? You want a bounce-back game. You're playing a team towards the bottom of the table. Like, Southampton at home should be the perfect bounce-back game for Arsenal. Let's be real about it, man. Let's be real about it. Because we've had 2 poor results. Dropping points at Liverpool. You can say a draw at Liverpool ain't bad. And I agree, it's not bad. But following up with that with another draw, this time to West Ham United, that's a bad result. A very bad result. So, we've got to find a way to bounce back one way or another. City, a bunch of cheaters. I don't know about that, man. But one thing, Ake is out. And you might say it's just Nathan Ake. But Ake is a brilliant footballer, genuinely. Like, he's played really well for Man City. And he's their only genuine like half left back that's at the football club, because obviously Rico Lewis is there, but he's not really playing left back for them. João Cancelo's gone, Zinchenko's gone, etc. Man City haven't got a proper left back. Ake's been playing that. He's done a beautiful job, by the way. The way he locked up Saka in the FA Cup was so good. They're going to need to find a left back somewhere. Whether they revert to playing Bernardo Silva there, who knows, man. But let's see what City do. They'll probably play Laporte, actually. City will win the league. They will smash us. Luca, have some faith, bro. Your name's Luca AFC, not Luca Man City FC. Have some faith, my friend. Man United out. UEFA Europa League could Seville. Well, this is the thing, Mohammed, right? I predicted Sevilla to win this game because this is their competition, genuinely. Like, this is their competition, man. They're so good at winning Europa League matches. And I was looking, I said in the first leg, right? United, no killer instincts. No killer instinct whatsoever. It's how it is, man. Like, in that first leg, after the first 30 minutes, they're 2-0 up. I'm thinking, yeah, United are cruising. Genuinely, they're cruising. They're going to win this game easily. But they don't go on and they don't persist. In fact, they fall back a little bit. When it's a two-legged tie, you can't for any, like, I don't know what in your mind thinks you can take liberties. Like, the game's going to be over. Sorry. The game's not going to be over in 90 minutes. You're going to have to go to their stadium. So why are you thinking the match is over after 30 minutes in a 118-minute game? It makes absolutely no sense. At 2-0, they're locking up. They're thinking, it's calm. We'll take that to Seville. No, you won't take that to Seville. Because even if it was 2-0, now, I appreciate it would be a different game if it was 2-0 United going to this game here. But on the balance, Sevilla still would have gone through if they won 3-0 today and United won 2-0 at Old Trafford. So it just goes to show, it's never over. You got to kill teams when you have the chance. United had the chance to kill them in the first leg. They should have done so. At Old Trafford, when you're 2-0 up, when Sabitzer was playing amazing, when you were cruising, finish that game, man. Get a few more goals because Sevilla were there for the taking. You don't, you ease off, take your foot off the gas, and then with 10 minutes left, you can see 2 goals. And that's what happens, man. That's what happens. You pay the price. Sevilla had all the momentum to end that football match, getting 2 goals, drew it up 2-2, going back to Seville. United never really got out of it, to be fair. So that's how football is, man. You literally got to dominate. Anyway, do you think Man United in team, do you think Maguire in the team made United not good? Maguire's not a starting centre-back of Manchester United. Like, it's like Rob Holding for Arsenal. They can't start for your club. If you want to go far, they're not going to start because they will cost you. They will cost you, man. I know some people will say, for example, people love to bring up Rob Holding's 2017 FA Cup final performance against Diego Costa and Chelsea. Yes, it was a brilliant performance. I don't want to be pessimistic because genuinely I'm an optimistic guy. But stuff like this, I need to make a point about this, yeah? People love bringing up one performance about this player saying, oh my God, but he performed like this on this one occasion. Yes, I'd expect that. Like, you're a professional footballer. You're going to have in your career 1 or 2 amazing performances. The reason you're not Lisandro Martinez or Rafael Varane is because you're not good enough consistently. That's what makes the top players. If you're bringing up Rob Holding's performance from the 2017 FA Cup final, there's a reason for that because he hasn't had a good performance since then. That's the reason. Let's be real about it. Otherwise, you'd be bringing up his performance last week. When Arsenal talk about Saliba and Gabriel, we talk about their recent performances because they're good consistently for the most part. Rob Holding isn't good consistently. That's why he's not a top defender. Same with Harry Maguire. You bring up a Harry Maguire performance for England or a Harry Maguire performance for Leicester because he's not good consistently enough. If you're playing for Manchester United, you have to be good consistently. And he's not, man. So look, he shouldn't be starting for Man United, but that's where they're at. They need to bring in more depth because Maguire should be a 4th choice centre-back or 5th choice centre-back. He shouldn't be right into the team as soon as they get one injury, man. It's not good enough. Evening, thank you for joining, Malia67. I think that's Millie, right? Thank you for joining in. Hope you're well. I'm doing well, man. Doing very, very well. Very fun game to support, man. Very fun game to watch. Actually, to be fair, I was a little bit rooting for Man United. You know, I know it's weird saying that as an Arsenal fan, but I was a little bit rooting for Man United just because I wanted to see Man United Juventus in the semi-finals. I thought that'd be really good. Like, as a neutral, I'd love to see Manchester United versus Juventus as a potential semi-final. It didn't happen. Fair play to Sevilla, man. They deserved it. You support Arsenal? I do indeed, man. I'll be here tomorrow at 10 p.m. Arsenal versus Southampton reaction. Manchester United could not be Sevilla embarrassing. It is, but I think a lot of teams would have struggled today against Sevilla because they were that good. Like, Sevilla genuinely were that good. They were pressing really well. They were on the front foot. But like I say, bro, if you're away from home, don't make that team easy. Don't make it easy for Sevilla. Don't give them the incentive to get going or have an opportunity. You gotta be resolute, man. You gotta be resolute at the back. But they're not. They made it easy for Sevilla. Sevilla played very well. Take nothing away from them, but come on, man. And in the big games away from home, United have folded. They've been very poor away from home in the big matches. You gotta say that. You have to say, like, for 70% this season, United have done really well, but they're beating the teams that they're like a bully, like a school bully. Like, they'll beat the teams lower than them, but when they come up against someone their own size or bigger, they fold, man. They fold, and that's what it's been the story of the season for Manchester United. In the big away matches, with big ramifications, with a lot at stake, they've folded. They've been nowhere near the usual Manchester United that we've seen in weeks gone by. Like, where was this United that was performing against Nottingham Forest last week? The United against Nottingham Forest, brilliant. I came out on this channel, I said they were very, very good. Like, it's a tough place to go to City ground against Forest, and they played really well, dominated. Today, terrible, absolutely terrible. The big games, they struggle, man. United's 2 own goals and the leg one was the killer. Exactly, Max. Exactly. And look, if they win that first goal, right? If they win that first game convincingly, as they should have done, judging by the whole first 45 minutes, whole first 60 minutes, in fact, in the first leg, this second leg becomes irrelevant. Just like how Man City beat Bayern Munich 3-0 at their stadium, they took it to the Allianz and that game basically became irrelevant. That's what United should have done. But they haven't got that killer instinct. There's a reason Manchester United, I don't want to be rude, yeah, but there's a reason Manchester United are in the Europa League, not the Champions League. Because they're not quite got that quality yet. Let's be real about it. Let's be genuinely honest about it. Because a Champions League level team like a Man City, a Real Madrid, etc. would have killed Sevilla in that first leg. Because Sevilla were there for the taking in the first leg. They were so poor, genuinely. Like the first 60 minutes of that first leg, Sevilla had nothing about them. When they brought in Jesus Navas, they actually started to perform a little bit better. But for the first 60 minutes, they were terrible. Like, any good team would have wiped the floor of them and punished them for being that bad and ended the tie in the first leg in the first 60 minutes. But United didn't. They gave them life. And look, if your foot's on someone's neck, don't take your foot off it because they're going to be coming up swinging. And that's exactly what Sevilla did. They came up from the death, they got revived, and they came back swinging, and they brought it back to 2-2, and they had all the momentum, and they carried that momentum through today. And look, were United expecting an easy game? If I wouldn't have been if I was United. You know what their record was like in Europa League. Be up for it, but they weren't, man. I'm glad they're out. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans would be. I'm happy United are out, but I would have wanted to see a United versus Juventus. I thought it would have been a really good game. Banter time, it is indeed, man. Get on Twitter. The Twitter Warriors, Arsenal versus United. Me too, I hate United. A lot of United haters, man. Is there any United fans in the chat? That's what I want to see. Thanks for helping Josh today. No problem whatsoever, man. No problem whatsoever. Who is Josh? He's another YouTuber, True Guna, who had some complications regarding his monetization. Final goal ruled out for offside being checked. What's the score? Someone let me know the score in the Roma final game. I understand it's gone to extra time, I believe. Wow, 40 watching. I appreciate it, Alex. Yeah, 39 watching right now. Subscribe if you're new around here. My next stream will be tomorrow. Arsenal versus Southampton, 10 p.m. the stream's going to start. I cannot wait as an Arsenal fan. I cannot wait. I need my team to bounce back and get a win heading into the match. It's not freezing. Good. I hope it's not. The quality says it's poor, so I feel like it could be freezing a bit. As long as my voice quality is good, that's the main thing. The audio is the main thing for me. Sorry, I meant Roma. Goal is good. Roma up by 2. Okay, they should be free. And I'm happy to see Roma go through, to be completely honest, man. I like Jose Mourinho, man. He's a character. Like, you want to see managers like Jose Mourinho in the European games, bro. Because they're just a character, man. Like, he's just funny watching the guy on the sideline. He's good. 4-1 Roma. Oh, yeah, they're easily through. Easily through. Hey, Rory. Yeah, welcome to RD12. Yes, 4-1. 4-2 on aggregate. There we go, man. There we go. Championship team. They perform like it today, Manchester United. They perform like it today. But look, for 70% of the season, United have been really good. Genuinely really good. But, look, in the big matches where you earn your living, it's not good enough as a Manchester United player to play good in the games you're meant to win. Like, you play for Manchester United. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to be like gassing up United all this much because I'm an Arsenal fan. But Manchester United are the biggest club in England, in my opinion, right? They're not some mid-table team. If you're playing for Manchester United, it's not good enough to play good against Everton at home or Forest away. You earn your money in the big games, like away against Sevilla in a Europa League match. Not even a Champions League match, a Europa League match. Away at Arsenal, away at Liverpool, away at teams like Man City. That's where you earn your living as a Man United player. You play for Manchester United, you shouldn't be getting all your plaudits for winning against Forest away. Brilliant win last week. I reacted to it on this channel. I said they were brilliant. Anthony showed up big time. But today was a bigger game. It was a much bigger game with bigger ramifications, and they folded. They folded. It's the story of United's season. Big away games, they fold. Well and truly, man. What's the best game you've ever watched? Wow, what a question. What's the best game I've ever watched? Up there has to be the World Cup Final 2022. I know it's recent, but what a game that was, man. I think 4-4, Liverpool-Arsenal with Arshavin's 4 goals. That was a wicked game that I watched as well. That was one of my earlier games I watched as well in my life. I love that game. So, yeah. That, and also I'm going to put the FA Cup final, the Ramsey against Hull when Arsenal won 3-2. Those are my favourite games. The World Cup final this year, the Arsenal FA Cup final one, also the 4-4 Liverpool-Arsenal at Anfield. That was a brilliant game. And shout out Algeria-Germany in the 2014 World Cup when Algeria held them the whole game. That was a sick match as well. Anyone remember that one? Let me know in the live chat. Yeah, anyone else? Let me know your favourite football game as well. From any era, anything. Just your favourite ever football game you've watched. It can be live, it can be not live. You can be in a stadium, not in a stadium. Just let me know. Man City will beat Arsenal, bro. Luca, change your name to Luca M Man City FC, because you're clearly, bro. Have some faith, man. Have some optimism, bro. Anything can happen. It's football. Anything can happen. Maguire needs to go to lower leagues. Harsh but true. No, I'm joking. It is very harsh. Genuinely very, very harsh. But it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. He's not good enough to be Manchester United's starting team. And there's a reason he's been on the bench for the majority of this season. You need to bring in a better backup if you're Manchester United. A much better backup, because... And I don't get all this Maguire plays good for England. He doesn't. Genuinely, he doesn't play good for England. Like, I watch England play and he's not good for them. Maguire is not a good centre-back. He's not. Like, he's not. There's a reason that he has a handful of good games and the majority of the time he's crap. It's because he's not good enough, man. You've got to move on if you're United. If you want to take yourself to the next level, you've got to move on. You think the Roy Keanes of this world, you think the Dwight Yorks would have survived having a defender like Maguire at the back? No way, man. They would have been ripped into him. Maguire sucks. He does, bro. He's absolutely terrible. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Doing well. Thanks, True Good, bro. Hope you're doing well, man. I know what happened with your channel. I hope it gets resolved soon, bro. Because no one should be able to go through that whatsoever, man. It's terrible to see stuff like that happen. So I hope it gets resolved soon, bro. I'm rooting for you. Let me know if you need any other help regarding it. We need to beat Southampton and draw at City. I'd take that. Hey, yo, Arsenal fans, let me know in the live chat. Would you take a draw at Man City? I want you to let me know right now. For me, I'm taking a draw there. Every day of the week, bro. Give me a draw at the Etihad and let's keep it moving. I'm taking a draw there. Arsenal fans, let me know. Am I monetized? Not quite yet, Luca. I'm about, to be fair, how I'm going right now with the live streams, I'll be monetized by the end of the season. If I keep going like this. I'm about 900 hours left. I think I'm on like 3,100. So I've got the subs, but yeah, almost. So the watch hours, the only thing that's left. I'm almost there. If I keep going at this rate, I'll be monetized by the end of the season for sure. Because it's going well. It's going very well. I appreciate the question. When is Saliba back? Who knows, bro? Who knows? We saw the En-Nesyri story. I mean, Arteta gave it a little press conference thing saying, he's not back yet. He's not going to be back for a while. He's a big setback. But Arteta loves to do it, man. It's mind games from Arteta. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays against City, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. And I don't think he needs to play tomorrow either. I think Rob Holding will do all right against Southampton because it's Southampton. But when the big money's earned in the away games, we need Saliba back. Saliba needs to be back for City. The only hope we've got against Man City is if we have a full strength team. If we have Saliba, Partey, Jesus, etc., we got a chance. Because why is it every time we play a big game, we're missing big players, bro? Every single time. Why can't we play with our full strength team? Because we're not quite good enough. We haven't got a good enough squad depth to be able to survive playing against teams like Man City, Liverpool, etc. with big players missing out. We're not going to be able to hang with those teams. We need our full strength team. And Saliba is a big part of that, bro. I don't want to be going to the Etihad with Rob Holdini at the back, man. Arsenal to 7 points clear. Could that psychologically get to Man City? Could, Tommy? It could, but I don't think it will. Just because Man City are past that, man. They've been in enough title races to know what it's like to be 7 points behind, 7 points clear, games in hand, not games in hand. So I wouldn't look at it like that. I think if it was the other way around, potentially, but City have been here before, man. And they know they've got 2 games in hand, so they know that they're still well in this title race. And they know they get a win at Arsenal. They get a win against Arsenal. It's theirs to lose. Bro, I'm not even gonna try. What was that even? Arsenal volunteer. What is that, man? Yeah, someone do translate that. What does that even mean, bro? I don't even know what that means, man. Vamos Arsenal, ganamos el título, sí. Spanish. Vamos, let's go Arsenal. Win the title, yes. GCSE Spanish coming in clutch, man. That's what I think it says. Let me know if I'm right, Max. Let's go Arsenal, win the title, yes. Something like that. We win the title, ganamos, we win. I speak English, yes. I just use Google Translate. Oh, there we go. Final now, down to 10 players for the last 3 minutes. Oh, they've lost their head then, Jeff. If they're already down on aggregate big, they've lost their heads going down to 10 players. It happens, man, in Europe. When you go down by a big lead, you start to lose your heads. Players start going in for crunching challenges. Things like that happen. De Gea is done. De Gea must leave this summer. He must leave, bro. I've been saying it for a while, though, man. Like, I don't get these teams that do football fans see something different to how the club executives see him or something? Because every single fan for a while has known De Gea is not quite good enough. I think everyone knows that on his day, De Gea can be a good goalkeeper. He can pull off some wonder saves. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. But this is football, right? And it's a new generation of football. This isn't the football of the past where being a goalkeeper is all about making saves. Being a goalkeeper now is also about using your feet. If anything, it's more important than a save sometimes. You got to be comfortable to move your feet. The goalkeeper is the first line of attack. He's the one that gets all the attacks started. So if you're David De Gea, it's not good enough to say, oh, you'll make a wonder save every other game. You've got to be good enough with the ball at your feet, and he's not. Flat out, he's not. So United need to move on from him, man, and bring in a top goalkeeper. I've been saying it for a while now. They failed to do so. Will the penny finally drop? To be fair to Erik ten Hag, he seems like a ruthless guy. He seems like a manager that will not be afraid to make big decisions, whether it be leaving out players or bringing in certain players. So look, I think he's got to look at De Gea, look at Maguire and say, the time's over, my friends. Man United would bottle chess. They did bottle it, especially given what happened in the first half, man. Especially given what happened in the first half, because you got to be up for the fight from minute one. You got to be up for it. They bottled it in the first leg, yes, I agree, but it's a brand new game. Like, we can talk about, I did all my reactions to the first. I can say how they bottled it. They didn't have the killer instinct to finish that game off, but at the same time, it's 2-2. It's a clean slate. There's no away goals. You go into the game today and it's a fresh slate. Whoever wins that match goes through. It's a brand new game, brand new, and you bottled it. From minute one, you were not at the races. You were not up for the finals. Only ever one team in it. It was men versus boys. That's what would annoy me more as a United fan. Because you can say what you can say in the first leg, right? But you still had another opportunity. Like, you had a second chance right here. And you failed again, man. Failed miserably. Rangers won game 1 against the Devils. I'm a huge Rangers fan. Let's go Rangers game 2 tonight. Is that related to the thing, right? The NHL. Roma won 4-2 on Aggregate. They're through to the semis. Big up Roma, man. Big up Roma. Jose Mourinho, man. Love that guy. I don't love him, actually. He caused Arsenal so much grief, but I like seeing him in European competition. I think Mourinho, as a one-off manager, he's quality, man. Haha, you're right. Good job, mate, though. I appreciate it. So, yeah, let's talk about Sevilla a bit, though, because I think I should. I've spoken a lot about Manchester United, as I should, because United are, let's be honest, they're the main team to talk about. But Sevilla played really well. Played really well in this game, man. And they've got a game against Juventus next, and would anyone put it past Sevilla to win the Europa League again? It seems to just be intrinsically in their blood. What is it with Spanish teams in European competitions? It's Real Madrid in the Champions League and Sevilla in the Europa League. They just seem to turn up when the stakes are at their highest. When they're playing these European competitions, they seem to play really well. And again today, genuinely a really good performance. Like, I could tell that they were going to be up for it from minute one. The crowd were in the stadium with 30 minutes left. There were all the parades and the chants going on. So I knew that there was going to be a good atmosphere going into this game tonight. And Sevilla came out to play straight away. And their game plan was executed to perfection. I hear Sevilla have struggled in La Liga this season, especially under Lopetegui at the start. They brought a new manager now and they look good. Genuinely, they look very good. The balance of their team is really good. They know when to press. They know when not to press. Their quality of football is good. Their final pass is good. And Youssef En-Nesyri played a brilliant game, man. Genuinely played a really good game. Capitalised on all the mistakes. You can say United made mistakes, but that's only half the equation. Half the equation is making mistakes. The other half is the other team going to capitalise? And is the other team going to score off those mistakes? And Sevilla, credit to them because they did brilliantly on that behalf. Youssef En-Nesyri scored off both of the Manchester United mistakes. The second one from De Gea as well, bro. I mean, I'd even touch on the third Sevilla goal. The second goal for En-Nesyri. It's another catastrophic error from De Gea. Just goes to show again, alarming how bad he is with his feet. It's Exhibit A. The brother cannot control the football, man. You're a professional footballer. I don't care if you're playing goal or play up front. You should be able to control the ball. And he didn't. Terrible, man. Let the ball slip right through his feet. And then he just puts it on a plate for Youssef En-Nesyri, who scores it. And then at that point, 3-0. It was game over already at 2-0 to be fair. I couldn't see United getting back in that game. But 3-0, that literally just was the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the cake. And it was over. Well and truly over. Where did United come back from this? I mean, this is the thing for United, right? Within Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in 4 days, right, they could go from being in one competition they could go from being in 3 competitions to just in the Premier League. Because they're out of the Europa League now. They got to bounce back on Sunday against Brighton. What's you lot's predictions for that? Because for me, I think Brighton are going through. Brighton's football's been quality. I've watched a lot of Brighton recently, and under De Zerbi, they've reached new peaks. Like, genuinely, quality of football-wise, if I just watch a football match in terms of how good they are at football, Brighton genuinely are top 5 in the league. Top 4, maybe I'd say. Like, they're close to Arsenal and City. How good their football is. I always say, right, how to judge if a team's actually good at football is how they play out of the press and out of pressure. Because, trust me, any team in football, especially in the Premier League, can play well when you're sitting ranks of 4 and you're just parking the bus against them and they're asked to pass the ball from left to right to left to right again. Any team can play well in that scenario, trust me. But a genuinely good team is a team that can play out of the press. When a team presses them, how are they able to respond to that? Do they lose composure or are they able to pass out of it? And Brighton genuinely are very good at that. They're so good at playing out the press. Their team's balanced and their team's solid, bro. Mitoma left wing cooking. Caicedo really good. McAllister really good. I expect a lot of the Brighton players to move on to a lot of clubs in the summer, a lot of big clubs, which is a shame because if Brighton want to make the next step forward and move on to European football, Champions League football, etc., they're going to need to retain their assets. But unfortunately, a lot of those players do want to move on. I already heard Alexis McAllister's agent coming out. I think it was his dad, in fact, saying that he expects McAllister to move to a club next year. He doesn't know whether it's going to be, I don't know what club it's going to be, but he doesn't expect McAllister to stay at Brighton. But genuinely, right now, their team is solid. I'm not putting past Brighton getting a result and beating United at Wembley on Sunday in the FA Cup. But let me know you lot's thoughts in the live chat. United fan, not a United fan. Let me know your thoughts. I think Brighton are going through. I think it's going to be Brighton versus Man City in the final of the FA Cup. That's just my opinion. But hey, look, I'm excited for it. It's a game that could go either way. Sevilla will face Juventus next. Indeed, they will. And I believe, is it Leverkusen versus Roma? Is that the other one? I'm not too sure. But yeah, Sevilla versus Juventus will be a good game. That's why I wanted United to go through. Like, I'm not a United fan, but I wanted to see United versus Juventus. Because why not, bro? I think it'd be a really good game. Manchester United versus Juventus. Two teams that are historic football clubs. I mean, we just heard Juventus get their 15-point ban rescinded. So they're now... 15-point deduction rescinded. So they're now back into third place again. What a crazy turn of events, man. Imagine what happened to Man City. Imagine Man City got a point deduction for all their FFP things, yeah? And on the final day of the season, their point deduction gets rescinded and they go back to the top of the table. That'd be absolutely crazy, man. That'd be absolutely crazy. Yes, so it'd be Roma versus Bayer Leverkusen. Did West Ham United win? Well, I think they did because the last time I checked, it was 3-1 against Ghent. So they are going to go through to the semi-final. I can check West Ham fixtures... yes, they are. They're playing AZ Alkmaar. The Dutch side, I believe. AZ Alkmaar, Dutch team. In the semi-final first leg at home. Hey, there we go, man. There we go. So, that'll be interesting to see. West Ham, look, I mean, for all the struggles they've had in the Premier League, they're playing well in the Europa Conference League. They are. And look, for West Ham United fans, if they survive, like say they survive, as I expect them to do, let's say they finish 16th in the league, but win the Europa Conference League. Is that a good season for West Ham? Because I think it is, you know. Because at the end of the day, you can talk about how it's better to finish like 10th over 17th. But genuinely, if you survive in the Premier League, does it really matter if you finish 17th or 10th? Apart from giving your fans a scare that you could have got relegated. Let's be real about it. Like, at the end of the day, you still survived in the Premier League. And West Ham are on course to do that. They're on course to survive. I know they've had a little bit of a scare to go relegated, but I don't think they will. I never really thought they would get relegated, to be honest. And they're in the semi-final of the Europa Conference League. They could win their first European competition, I think, in their history. So, big up West Ham, man. They keep moving. They're the only English side left in the Europa Conference League, alongside Man City in the Champions League. Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? With the likes of Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. At the start of the season, who would have thought that West Ham would have joined Man City as a team going furthest? I mean, everyone would have expected Man City to go far in the Champions League. But no one would have thought West Ham would go far in their competition. But hey, that's life, man. I think West Ham will win it. They've got the quality to do so. And I made this point the other day. I literally said that the Premier League is literally the domestic Super League. Because it's 10th in the Premier League is good enough to win the Europa Conference League. Genuinely, like, the Premier League is that stacked. We've got West Ham who struggled big time in the Premier League this season. They get beaten basically week in, week out. I know they got a result against Arsenal, but in those first 10 minutes, they were terrible against Arsenal. Yet in Europe, they play well, and they look the better team. So look, they've won today convincingly at home again. They've got AZ Alkmaar next. Let's see how that goes. Alkmaar went through on pens against Anderlecht. Anderlecht are a decent side, to be fair, the Belgium team. I think Anderlecht a decent side. So the fact they went through on pens shows how evenly matched those two teams are. I think it'll be a really good game potentially. I don't think I'll watch it because I don't care about Europa Conference League. But hey, good luck to West Ham and any West Ham fans out there. I wish your team the best of luck, man. Why not go for it? But yeah, the next stream will be tomorrow. Arsenal versus Southampton. I guess I'm going to do a little preview for that. How do I expect that game to go? I hope Arsenal bounce back. And I think they will, because let's be real about it, right? If you want a bounce back game, it's Southampton. You got to stop the bleeding. When you drop points in the Premier League, especially a team like Arsenal or Man City chasing for the title, it's a horror show. You drop points, you can't believe it. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. You just need to bounce back. Arsenal dropped points against Liverpool and they failed to bounce back. They then drew to West Ham. That now makes it 4 points dropped rather than 2 points dropped. And when you look at it like that, you just have to stop the bleeding now. You got to stop the virus spreading around the camp. You got to stop this bleeding. When City lose games, they always bounce back. Every single time. I rarely ever see Man City drop points in back-to-back matches. They will find a way to beat that next team. And not only will they beat that next team, more often than not, they will spank that next team, demolish them. They will take out all their aggression and inflict punishment on that next team just before all the heartache they suffered in the match before. Arsenal don't exhibit that. And for me, a big club needs to be able to bounce back from their losses more than anything. It's alright winning 5, 6, 7 games in a row. That's really good. When you've got a lot of confidence, a lot of teams can do that. We've seen Manchester United do that, for example. The top teams of the world, though, are the ones that are able to bounce back from defeat. When you're on the floor, can you get up? Those are the top teams. Not only in football, in life as well. It's a life lesson. You've got to be able to bounce back from your defeats. Arsenal have not done that this season, generally. At times they did. When they lost to Man United, they came back and they beat Brentford 3-0. Fair play to them. That was a really good job. But losing to Everton, what happened? Drew to Brentford, lost to Man City. It suddenly became 1 point out of 9. Now they followed it up with 7 wins on the bounce. But 1 point out of 9 can derail your season. When you're playing against a team like Manchester City, who are, let's be honest, near flawless most seasons, you can't afford to just win loads of games and then lose 3 in a row. It's not good enough. You have to be able to be consistent to face teams like Man City and pick them to the title. And Arsenal have not been that. Putting back-to-back games, you got to turn it around. You got to win this game against Southampton. For me, you can say run up the goal difference. Goal difference is out of the equation for me now. I would have said run up the goal difference, but I don't think goal difference is going to make up much of a factor now. I think you got to beat City on points overall, and that started winning against Southampton. Like I said, it's a favourable game. You're playing at home in front of your home crowd. You're playing against bottom of the table Southampton, who look dead and buried this season. It should be a game you're expected to win. It should be a game that you can win. And it's a nice feeder match going into the game against Man City on the weekend. During the week on Wednesday. So in that perspective, you got to win it. Let me know your predictions in the live chat. Tommy comes in with Arsenal 3-0. I'd take that, man. I'd take that. I just want a good, solid Arsenal performance. One where we play really well throughout. A clean sheet, preferably. I don't think we'll get a clean sheet because Arsenal's clean sheets at home this season have been poor. We've failed to get loads. Even against Leeds and Crystal Palace, teams that rarely score goals. We conceded goals in both those matches. So who knows, man? Who knows? My prediction will be 3-1 Arsenal. That's just my thoughts on it. Obviously, let me know your thoughts, guys. In terms of Manchester United, though, let me know your prediction for Manchester United versus Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final on Sunday. I will be watching it. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming after it, because it will be my birthday, and I probably won't be able to stream after it, because I'll have family and all that stuff, like events, etc. But I will hopefully be watching it. Brilliant game I hope to see, and I expect Brighton to win that. I'm going 2-1 Brighton versus Manchester United next week, this Sunday, in Europa League. And it's crazy to say, but for how much I praised Manchester United this season, and they deserve praise. Erik ten Hag's done a brilliant job. For me, Erik ten Hag's done a fantastic job at Manchester United. But equally, in 4 days' time, from Thursday to Sunday, they could be out of 2 competitions. And they could end the season with just top 4 in Carabao Cup, which would still be a good season. I think a lot of Manchester United fans would take that, especially given what happened last season. But you got to look at it and say, wow, what could have been for them? What could have been for Manchester United? But for me, I made this point before. To me, goes 2-1 Brighton as well, by the way. Same predictions as me. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, and your predictions for both the Arsenal game tomorrow and the Brighton game on the weekend, as well as any other games during the week. Just let me know your thoughts on them. But yeah, the thing for Manchester United, right, is put aside the trophies you won this season and you making top 4. I think the biggest benefit for Manchester United this season is they brought in a manager that genuinely looks like he's a Manchester United manager. That's the biggest thing for me, because ever since Alex Ferguson's left, and I've watched football long enough to see Sir Alex Ferguson's days at United, and I knew when they brought in David Moyes, I was thinking, ooh, it's a step up for him from Everton to go to Manchester United. It didn't really work out. No manager since Alex Ferguson, and you brought in top managers, let's not forget. David Moyes was one manager, let's be honest, but you've also brought in the likes of Louis van Gaal, you brought in Jose Mourinho, etc. Top managers, man. Like, top managers have come into the door at Manchester United, but none of them have really, for me, encapsulated what Manchester United is about and been the right manager for Man United. With Erik ten Hag, I see a Manchester United manager there. I genuinely do. Now, winning the Carabao Cup is one thing. He's won a trophy, which, to be fair to him, can help you out in the tough times, because there will be more tough times as Man United manager. There's a tough time for every manager. No manager faces a smooth ride, unless you seem to be Pep Guardiola at Man City, it seems. But even then, he's failed to win the Champions League. I know when Arteta won the FA Cup, it really helped him in the tough times. It's probably saved him his job, to be honest. So Erik ten Hag winning that Carabao Cup is big for him. But forget the trophies. Forget the fact that you're top 4. I see a United team that's progressed. And I see a manager that's quality. Like, Erik ten Hag's a good manager. For me, he has the potential to be a world-class manager, if he's not a world-class manager already. The way he dealt with the Ronaldo situation was top. Very good. Like, very few managers deal with a situation like that, man. And coming from Ajax, he was a good manager, don't get me wrong. And I've always thought he was a good manager, but it's Ajax, right? It's Eredivisie. I was thinking, boy, it's a bit of a step up to go to Premier League. Watch them in the Champions League, and I thought they were very good, but it's one thing being a cup manager. Can you be a league manager? A manager that performs in the Premier League, and he's really stepped up to the billing. And now if you're Manchester United, your next port of call is get rid of the Glazers. One way or another, you got to get rid of them. You have to, man. They've made such a mockery out of the club. The Super League's one thing. Now they've said they wanted to sell the club. Now, whether it's a minority stake, a majority stake, that's yet to be seen. But they've taken it into the 3rd round of bidding. How classless is that? How classless is to say you want to sell the club, parties have come forward to bid, and you've now gone, not good enough, let's take it to a 3rd round. Come on, man. Like, come on, it's poor from the Glazers. You need to get rid of them one way or another. But the right manager's in the door at least. And that's one step of the puzzle. That's one piece of the puzzle. That's one step of the problem. Getting the right manager at the football club. Because there's a lot of managers in this world right now that would have loved the Manchester United jobs and have not been worthy of it. And there's a lot of managers right now that probably United fans would have wanted over Erik Ten Hag. Not all the United fan base wanted Erik Ten Hag. But he's the right manager for Manchester United, it seems. And that's a very big thing, genuinely. Because you can be a top manager, but not be the right manager for that club. David Moyes, I genuinely think, is a good manager. But he's not a Man United manager. That's how it is sometimes. You can be a very good manager, but not the manager for that club. Erik Ten Hag looks like a brilliant manager and the right manager for Manchester United. So for me, the future looks bright for them. Like I said at the start of the stream, a striker and a starting striker and a starting goalkeeper has to be prioritised in the summer for Manchester United. Has to be prioritised. And if they bring on those two players, they can make a good run. Genuinely for the title next season, I can see it. And then, if you bring in a top striker, Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen, those two players, you're Manchester United, don't make excuses saying, oh, we're not quite good enough. No, you are. You're Man United. You're bringing Osimhen or Harry Kane. No one else. Those are your two managers on your wish list. You bring in a top goalkeeper. I don't know who it is, but you bring in a top goalkeeper. And then you bring in squad players. You bring in a rotational centre-back because Maguire cannot touch the field for me. He can't. And you bring in a rotational, for me, a winger. Because I don't think Sancho's good enough. I know he went off to the Himalayan mountains to improve or whatever. He's not good enough. I never thought he was good enough. Anthony, to be fair to me, in recent weeks, barring today, has been good, Anthony. I think he's improved. And I think he will come good eventually. Do I think he'll necessarily be starting for United? No. I don't think he should. So I think you need a better winger in place. If you're Man United, you should have the budget. You spent a lot of money recently. Goalkeeper, striker, and winger. Those are your three positions you bring in. And you bring in a rotational centre-back. That's what you got to do in the summer. And you can challenge, man. You could tell Ten Hag was class at Ajax. You could not. I always saw him. I was thinking he's a good manager. But look, is it poor for me to say? I'm not going to lie right now and say I didn't feel this, but it's Ajax. Like, it is the Eredivisie. It is the playing against teams like AZ Alkmaar, like I said. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's the Dutch League. The step up from the Dutch League to the Premier League, it's apparent. It's very obvious. And to be fair to me, he's done very well. He had a horrible start to life. He lost to Brighton and Brentford. In hindsight, those are tough games, but he's bounced back very well. And I do say this, right, and Manchester United fans, feel free to disagree, but genuinely, losing 4-0 to Brighton was the best thing that happened to you. Because that was the wake-up call you needed. That was hitting rock bottom to bounce back up again like a slingshot. Because sometimes you need that in a football club. Because if you lose loads of games 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, it doesn't get to the deep root of the problems. It's like papering over the cracks a little bit. But sometimes you do need to get walloped, to get smashed, beaten and buried. And that's what Brentford did to you. They completely demoralised you. And sometimes when you hit rock bottom, the only thing you can do is bounce straight back up. And they did that. Responded with a great win against Liverpool. And it's funny because everyone thought that win against Liverpool was massive. And it is massive beating your rivals Liverpool. But now seeing how badly Liverpool perform away from home, it seems like a routine victory. But at the time, you're thinking, wow, what a win for United, beating Liverpool, who were challengers last season. But now look at it, man. Now look at them. And United, since then, done very well. They performed well in a lot of games. They've got a trophy under their belt. They've got some very decent players in that side. But in the big games away from home, that's what's cost them this season. And you can say the big games away from home is when your big players stand up. And that's where it becomes alarmingly obvious that Manchester United are lacking a striker and lacking a top-tier goalkeeper for me. That's just my thoughts on it. I think they'll transfer the title next year. I agree. I think they will. But I need to wait to see who they bring in the summer. Because it's very dependent on what type of players they're bringing. If they're bringing a striker, if they're bringing a goalkeeper, I don't see why not. I don't see why not whatsoever. But who knows, man. Ajax are giant in Dutch football. They are. But then, it's like managing PSG in the French league, right? You can say, oh, it's all good managing PSG in the French league. But look, they're beating most of the teams they play, man. Like in the Dutch league, who is it? Ajax. And then you've got PSV potentially having a fight every now and then. That's really it, to be honest, man. I don't see many other teams really putting in that much of a fight in the Dutch league, other than PSV, to be completely honest, will be there and abouts every now and then to compete with Ajax. But yeah, it's only really one way. Feyenoord as well, potentially, but that's it. That's it from my opinion, really. But Erik Ten Hag, fair play to him, man. I think he's done a superb job at Manchester United. Genuinely, a very good job. And he will keep it going because he will hopefully have the resources for him in the summer to spend well. And I think he deserves it. I think he's proved enough that he deserves to spend a lot of money. In the January, he brought in efficient players, I say, Sabitzer and Weghorst. But for me, I think that's a bit of a kick in the teeth because you're Manchester United. You shouldn't be looking at bringing in smart purchases. You should be able to afford the luxury of bringing in top players. Like you're United, you're not Fulham or Brentford who's bringing in a couple loans, like some smart, astute business. Nah, you're Man United. Bring in top players, man. Don't worry about what's astute business and what isn't. They didn't. They brought in some good signings and they've done about it the right way, I think, in the fact that Erik ten Hag's imposed his style on the current crop of players. He's now had that time now, and I think he's able to assess what players he wants to bring forward, what players he doesn't want to bring forward. He's made some of his signings. I don't necessarily agree with them. Anthony, for one. I know it's his boy from Ajax, etc., from the Dutch league. I don't care. I don't think he's good enough. Either way, he signed him. He's obviously brought in some other players that he wants. Weghorst, I think, will be a good plan B striker, but I don't think he's nowhere near good enough to start for Manchester United. Now, I think in the summer, Erik ten Hag needs to tell the board, tell the Glazers, look, this is what I've done with this squad. I'm missing a striker, I'm missing a goalkeeper. You give me those two players, I will take this club back to the top. I promise you that. And I think he's good enough to do so. I think he is. Either way, I think it'll be a brilliant next season. Arsenal will be there. City will be there, of course. I think Liverpool might bounce back. Chelsea could bounce back. United will be there, I think. Newcastle, let's see what they do in the summer under Champions League football. They've got the potential to splash the cash. I hear Dybala's on the potential list for them to go to Newcastle. That's a whole nother story as well. So let's see, man. I think the Premier League next season will be really exciting. And if United make the right signings, they'll be there. But for now, they've still got something to fight for. They've still got the FA Cup on Sunday. I predict Brighton to win that game, but anything can happen. It is cup football. Anything can happen. They're good enough. They're good enough to win. And of course, they've got the experience in the FA Cup that Brighton don't have. The experience playing at Wembley that Brighton don't have. So use it to your advantage. You're a bigger club than Brighton. Try and win that game. I think a lot of people would actually have Brighton potentially as favourites, maybe. I've got Brighton as favourites for that game just because of how well they're playing recently and how badly United performed today and how many players they've got out, the likes of the Martinez's, etc. But who knows, man? Who knows? Anything can happen. Bruno Fernandes coming back will be a massive boost for Man United. I think they missed him today. Just for that outball that Bruno Fernandes has got, like in behind, that counter-attacking ball, it really does affect the team when no one can play that killer pass that Bruno Fernandes does. And I think that really stops Manchester United getting out. And once you can't get out, when you've got no counter-attacking game, it just becomes heaps and waves of pressure, and that's when you eventually fold. Do you think Newcastle will turn into Man City? I think they will. Genuinely, I think they will. If they make Champions League football this season, they've got every excuse in the book to splash the cash. And I think with the Saudi Arabian backing behind them, such affluent owners, I think they will. I think it's only a matter of time before Newcastle United spend all the money in the world and become a Man City-like football club. I think it is, unfortunately. And do I want to see it? No, because I don't want to see money ruin football, but that's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. I mean, I might as well do now. Let me predict Newcastle's final fixtures. See how many points they'll get. To see if I think they will finish top 4, but look, you never know. Football can fluctuate. So Newcastle's next game is Tottenham at home. I think they'll win that game. I think they will. That's 3 points. Everton away, I think they'll get a draw. So that'll be on 4 points. Southampton at home, I think they'll comfortably win that game. That's 7 points. Arsenal at home, I think, that's my team, Arsenal, obviously. I think that will be a draw. So let's put 8 points. Leeds away, they'll win that because Leeds stink. That's 11 points. Brighton at home, I think they'll draw that game. That's 12 points. Leicester at home, I think they'll win that game. And that's 15 points. And then Chelsea away, I mean, they might lose that game because it's Chelsea. Who knows, man? I know Chelsea stink recently, but it's the final game of the season. But really, I can see all those are winnable games for Newcastle United, genuinely. So you're looking at it and you're thinking they're in a great position to make top 4. They're already 3 points clear with a game in hand of top 4 from Tottenham. So they're looking really good. I think the thing you've got Aston Villa, who's flying right now, Aston Villa, they've got the momentum. So genuinely, who knows how it goes, man. Either way, I'll be here from now to the end of the season to review all the matches. So make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. My next reaction will be tomorrow, Arsenal versus Southampton. I guess I'll end by once again recapping this match quickly. Sevilla 3, Manchester United 0. Sevilla winning 5-2 on aggregate, which is embarrassing for Manchester United, by the way. They go into this game with a fresh slate. Of course, they conceded 2 very sloppy away own goals in the home leg at Old Trafford last week. But it was a brand new game. It's 2-2, winner takes all basically, away from home. But United didn't come to play football whatsoever. As soon as the first ball was kicked, they were not up for the fight, whereas Sevilla were. They knew exactly what to do. They knew when to press, who to press. As soon as Maguire put the ball, Sevilla surrounded him like sharks. 3 players all enclosing on Harry Maguire. They won the ball back high up the pitch. And then it was through to En-Nesyri, who tucked it into the back of the net. 1-0 Sevilla. Well deserved as well. And then after that, you think, okay, United, they're going to have a reaction. They're going to bounce back. They're going to fight back. Not by any stretch of the imagination. They kind of retreated into their shell. And they gave Sevilla even more of an excuse to keep pushing forward. Keep going forward. And although they did have the ball in the back of the net, it was correctly ruled offside. Very tight. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Acuna offside. And then that was a break for United. And the halftime whistle came. And it was needed. From United behalf, it was needed. 1-0 down, you could say lucky to only be 1-0 down as well. I'm expecting a reaction. Is there going to be a reaction from Man United? No, there isn't. Going into the second half, much of the same. Sevilla scoring instantly from the corner. Balde came off his shoulder. Either way, De Gea cannot make the save. off the crossbar, and that's 2-0 Sevilla. Well deserved. United, are they going to make a bounce back? Now's the time. They still don't. And De Gea with another mistake. This time cannot control the football. It falls to En-Nesyri, who from outside the box tucks it into the back of net. 3-0 Sevilla. Well deserved victory for them. Terrible for Manchester United, and they crash out of the Europa League and deserve to do so. Who's at fault? For me, I think the whole team wasn't at the races. I don't think there was one player necessarily like Man United team that turned up today. Man for man, they were beaten by Sevilla, and that's the alarming thing, because in the big away games, Manchester United have failed this season. In the big away matches when money's on the line, when there's a lot to play, when it's big stakes, Manchester United have not turned up to the occasion. And that's got to be something Erik ten Hag looks at, because, like I said, for 70% this season, they played really well, but they're playing like school bullies. They'll beat the teams that are smaller than them. They'll beat the Forests, they'll beat the Evertons, etc. But when it's a big match, when you're playing against Sevilla in a European night, when you're playing against Arsenal, when you're playing against City, Liverpool, etc., in big away matches where you earn your money as a Manchester United player, historic matches, big matches, derby matches, rivalries that have gone on for years, generations, that's when you really need to step up and be counted. And United this season haven't done that whatsoever. In the little games, they've done well, and for the majority of the season, they've done well. But in the big away games, they've been hiding, and they haven't turned up. And that's what's cost them. Erik ten Hag needs to round up the troops, and he needs to get back on the training grounds and get them together, because they've got a massive game on Sunday against Brighton. Let's see what happens. My prediction is Brighton to win that game 2-1. But anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream. If you just tuned in right now, make sure first you subscribe for football match reactions. My next reaction will be tomorrow for Arsenal versus Southampton in a massive, massive game with implications on the title race. I'll be here 10 p.m. as soon as the game is done. Make sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications. And if you just tuned in, scroll back to the start of the stream and watch it from the beginning, as I reviewed everything to do with this football match, including, of course, the horror mistake from De Gea and Harry Maguire at the start of the match. I want to thank everyone for tuning into the stream. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here, like the stream down below, and I hope to see you all in my next one. I've been My Football. Take care.